Welcome to my channel. I'm Jenny with theforestdaisy, and I'm going to show you how I made this burlap wreath for Easter. I got a 14-inch wreath frame from Dollar Tree. These are in the garden section, and I like to get these round frames whenever I can because my local stores don't always have those in stock. Then some 4-inch loose weave burlap from craftoutlet.com and floral wire that is also from Dollar Tree. I cut a small piece of that, and then I take the end of the burlap and fold it in fourths or quarters so that is folding it in half and then in half again. And I pushed the floral wire through the burlap, and there's a small piece of wire on the wreath frame that runs vertically in between each section. So I lift the frame up, and from underneath, I pull the floral wire through and then twist that around a few times so that it will be attached to the frame. And then still from underneath, I push one side of burlap in between the first and second wires that are closest to the center of the frame. Then the other side of burlap goes between the second and third wires, and I put my fingers underneath both sides of burlap and keep them a little separated. And all I do is just sort of wiggle my fingers as I'm pulling the burlap up through that section, and it starts to fill up that frame. And sometimes it gets a little caught on the frame, which that's easy to work around. But I just keep repeating that over and over again, and the ruffle starts to take shape. Here it's sped up a little bit, but I just wanted to show you that the process is rather simple, and once you get the hang of things, then it will go by quicker. And then towards the end, this is what it looks like. And I had some extra burlap left over, which I just cut that off, and the extra will be used for different projects. And I turn that around when it's cut, and there was a strip that was a little too long, so I removed that. And then I just did the same thing that I did in the beginning, where I folded the burlap into quarters, and with another piece of floral wire, I attached that to the back of the frame to make sure that it wouldn't fall apart. And I always like to turn that back around when I'm done because sometimes some of the ruffles might not be exactly how I want them, or you can kind of see some sections, the ruffles kind of sticking out a little bit. So I just made sure to clean that up and make it look prettier. Then I found this Happy Easter sign. I want to say it was a Goodwill find, but there's something like this at Hobby Lobby, and even Dollar Tree has little signs. And I cut the hanger off at the top. And what I did is cut a popsicle stick or a craft stick in half, and the pieces flew everywhere. But I turned the sign around and added hot glue toward the top of the sign, and then put the pipe cleaner into the hot glue, and then also added a strip of glue to the craft stick, and then I placed that over the pipe cleaner just to make sure that those aren't going to fall off, and then did the same thing at the bottom of the sign. And this was just a way to get this attached without only using hot glue. So I pushed the pipe cleaners underneath one of those cross sections on the wreath, and then pulled the pipe cleaner back up and then twisted those around a couple times, and that is how I attached it to the frame. And then I had some Easter eggs from, I think, Hobby Lobby or maybe even Joann's, but you can also find different eggs at Dollar Tree. Then I decided to start gluing them onto the frame or in between, the ruffles of burlap, and alternated what angle they were facing just so it wasn't all 100% the same. And I also alternated the colors as well. In my stash, I had carrots from Dollar Tree, but you can find those this year as well. And I put hot glue on the back of the carrots and pushed those down into the burlap and made sure that there was a carrot in between each Easter egg. And I also did the same thing where I glued them at different angles just so they matched the eggs. Lastly, I took some jute string, and you can find stuff like this at Dollar Tree, Walmart, any craft store. And once I liked the loops on that, I put the end and then put hot glue on that and put that at the top of that sign, and I liked how it matched the burlap. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so that you will be notified the next time I post.